Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. Before we go any further, please give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. If you want to stay up to date with all that's happening in Tan and J-Man Show Nation, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, so stay tuned. We are back with another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Network. Beautifully cold January day out there today, but we're coming at you with some hot takes to warm your souls. This episode is brought to you by The Damn Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, Damn Landing is the place to be. The Damn Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou. Focuses on freshness and quality. The Damn Smoke is here every single weekend. It will be available on weekends and feature barbecue and steaks. In addition, you can wash it down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Take in the fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area. Whether it be boats or wheels, the Damn Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. Our other sponsor for the Tan and J-Man Show is Circle 15 Golf. It is a brand focused on bringing tour quality products and experience to the everyday golfer. Built on 25 years of tour experience, featuring the Genesis glove, as Tanner is bringing up.
I forgot to bring it down.
I forgot
to bring it down this week, so I don't have it with me.
It is the most durable and comfortable glove available in the patented Glove Hub, the first and only glove humidor on the market. Find them at circle15golf.com.
I gotta say, J-Man, that was the first time you've attempted that read. Mastered it way better than I do.
It's already in.
So, good job.
It's already in my brain.
Yeah, good job. Welcome back this week. Nice to have you back in studio.
Yes, sir.
We went remote last week, but worked out fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it is nice to be back in studio.
Always.
Do you think you're going to get a birdie this week?
Well, considering you told me it's a pretty difficult one of the most difficult ones we've ever had on the show, I'm going to say I'm definitely going to get a bogey, but I'll give it my
But usually, like you brought
shot.
up, usually when we think the other person's going to get it wrong, they get it right. When we think they're going to get it right, they get it wrong.
You're hyping this up, though, for it to be
I am
so
hyping it
difficult that I don't think I have a shot.
Well, last night, Thomas Brady became the fourth quarterback ever to play he will, with the win last night, Tom Brady will become the fourth quarterback ever to play in a title game in both the AFC and NFC. Out of those other previous three, only one has won both the AFC and the NFC. Who is that quarterback?
That's a good question. Good question. I don't know. Birdie Bogey brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC. Fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. Get your veggies.
Nice. Subtle to the point this
Smooth.
week. No
hurting my voice box.
Vocal cord. I don't even
Strangulation.
know. Yeah, thank you. Yep. NFL football, man. Divisional weekend came and went. Pretty exciting stuff. And now we're on to the conference championship.
Yeah.
I thought the games it was interesting. It was like the games I least cared about was first, then second, third, fourth. It was like least the ones I care about the most. So the first one was the Rams at the Packers. Lambeau Field, frozen tundra, 9,000 people up there in Titletown. Made a difference. It sounded a lot louder than just 9,000 in attendance. Packers were just too good.
Yeah. They won the Super Bowl. When was that? 2010?
10 season, 11
Super Bowl.
yes.
That was obviously a really good team. I think this is Aaron Rodgers' best team he's had.
Yes.
Since he's been there. I mean, he has one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the game, and Devontae Adams to throw the ball to.
Correct.
Has by far the best running game he's ever had. Aaron Jones is an absolute stud. His offensive line's always really good. But the thing that sets them apart is how good their defense is. They rush the passer. They force turnovers. He's never had a defense like this ever, or a run game, and he put together one of his best years ever, throwing 48 touchdowns. I think only 4 interceptions. And he's going to win the MVP. I can't imagine anyone else wins the MVP.
Yeah, I think it's
Aaron
his
Rodgers
this year.
So, in my opinion, they're the best team in football right now, and they're moving on.
Yeah, I like you put it together pretty good there. I think it's his best team, too. He's had other good ones that have got to the NFC Championship game. Did you know this is going to be his first time playing in the NFC Championship at Lambeau?
Rodgers?
Mm-hmm.
I think I did read that on Twitter.
So when he won it, it was at Soldier Field years ago against Caleb Haney. When Cutler got hurt and didn't go back in the game.
Yep, didn't go back in the game. And who was it? B.J. Raji had an interception return for a touchdown. Big old fat guy.
Forgot about that name.
Where else has he played one? He lost to in Seattle.
Yep.
In that,
they should have had that one.
In that overtime game, the guy dropped the onside kick. Trying to think where else they would have played one.
Because I think this is his 4th appearance. I think.
Didn't they just play in one last year? Or were they bad last year? I'm going to go look it up.
No, they were bad last year.
That's what I thought.
I don't know where else.
I want to say he played in one in New Orleans, but New Orleans has been in a Super Bowl once.
Yeah, and New Orleans.
They beat Minnesota to go.
Minnesota lost to. We'll talk about New Orleans playoff mishaps here in a little bit, but
they did lose in the conference championship last year in San Francisco.
Oh, that's right. They weren't bad. It was 2 years ago. They were bad.
They got killed in
blowout.
San Francisco.
That's right.
Yeah,
wow,
I remember that.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
we
they
can't
went
remember
6-9-1. Yeah.
I mean,
2016 they lost the conference championship game in Atlanta.
Okay.
Got killed in Atlanta.
Yeah, we'll see what happens this weekend.
Then in 2007 was his first one. They lost. Unless that was Favre.
That was Favre. At Lambeau.
Because it was in Lambeau. Yep.
But they will take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay.
They went into New Orleans and beat the Saints. We were talking last week how it's really difficult to beat a team 3 times in one season. Saints weren't able to get it done. And Saints, man, you look back on the last 5 years, they've had some brutal playoff losses. They just
every
they
single
got that culture.
Year. This year was less heartbreaking than the past few years. Still doesn't make it any less easy to overcome that. I mean, they had the Minneapolis Miracle, and then they had the no
worst
pass interference.
That was the worst because that cost them. If that's called, they're going to Super Bowl.
I want to say, was it the who'd they lose to last year?
Vikings went in there and Rudolph.
That's right.
Pushed off.
Yeah, pushed off, and then I think they were driving and Brees threw an interception.
Yes. Yep.
So, they've had some tough...
Yeah, that one 2 years ago against the Rams was the big one. They've had some tough losses. And really, talking about Drew Brees, he had tough losses in San Diego. Nate, I believe his name was Nate Koenig, the kicker from Iowa.
Kading?
Was it Nate?
Nate Kading?
Was it Nate? I think
it was Nate.
Anyways, I remember him costing them a game against the Jets when he was with the Chargers. And there was a couple other... It just seems like the kickers were always having mishaps out there.
I remember him missing a field goal against New England one year too. I think it was the year the Colts went to the Super Bowl because Colts would have had to go to San Diego, and he missed a field goal.
Rivers
late.
was there by that time.
Yeah,
because Brees is. People forget the first year he was in New Orleans, he got him to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, but
they overachieved that year, and they ran into a much better Chicago Bears team up in cold, windy Chicago. Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
But Jared Cook's fumble was huge last night.
Yes.
Kind of turned the game around.
Yeah, New Orleans had all the momentum. And then, his fumble, they got it deep in New Orleans territory.
Because Tampa didn't do anything that jumped out as a wow factor last night. They just didn't turn it over. They ran it okay.
Yeah, they were plus 3 or 4 in the turnover battle.
So they did what they needed to do. And that was the difference between the first 2 matchups. Tampa Bay was turning it over like crazy. So Tom, veteran presence playoff Tom, came out yesterday, did what they needed to do, and now they're rolling on to the NFC Championship for the first time since 2003. Of course, it's Tom Brady's 14th championship game appearance.
Insane.
Which is absurd. And
in one of the years he didn't make it was when he blew out his knee.
Yep.
First game of the season.
Yep, against the Chiefs. And like we were discussing before we came on air, he has 8 playoff wins now over the NFC. 8. And this is a guy who played every single year up until this year in the AFC.
It's incredible. I mean, what else can you say?
He really is the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to argue that.
And one of the other quarterbacks that will go down as one of the greatest of all time, Drew Brees. Pretty sure he's done. If not, he needs to be. But I'm like 99.9% sure he's done.
Jay Glazer reported it yesterday before the game that this will be his last year. We were all thinking it the entire season. The way his arm has looked really all year, and then he had the brutal rib injury where he broke, I think it was 11 ribs or something like that.
And punctured a lung.
I didn't even know we had 11 ribs in our body. I'm not a doctor. His arm looked bad last night. He threw how many interceptions? 3.
I will say 2 of them were deflected, but still, even then, the zip just wasn't there.
Yeah, the one he threw that was to Jared Cook where it hit off of Cook's chest.
Yeah.
That was a bad underthrown ball that the guy going up for the interception slipped. He would have had it anyway. Ended up getting picked off of Jared Cook. But
tough way to see a legend go out.
He doesn't seem too upset about it with him. After the game, he's dapping it up with Tom Brady.
Well, I think he'll always be a dad first.
Yeah.
The competitor of Drew Brees, I guarantee it's eating up inside.
I'm sure he's not happy with it. Imagine how he'd feel if he hadn't had won any Super Bowl at all. I mean, look at Dan Marino. Yeah. He never won one.
He got absolutely blitzed his last game.
Yeah, 62-7 in Jacksonville.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I think he got benched.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're going to go out, just go out that way. It's over.
Yeah, it's over.
Rip the Band-Aid right
real
off.
quick. Or just go out like Peyton Manning did.
Yeah.
That's a better way to go out, I guess. But.
I think you have to be a Bronco quarterback to go out on top.
I guess.
Elway and Manning.
It's disgusting.
But I don't know. It was tough for me to watch the end of the game, seeing Drew down like that, seeing him go out. I mean, this is a guy, I was 6 years old when I went to his first career start at Ross-Ade Stadium. That was my first Purdue game, and then his senior year when they led him to Rose Bowl, I went to 3 games that year. Mm-hmm. I was 8 years old, and I saw him beat Minnesota. I saw him beat Ohio State with probably the most famous Purdue football play ever, the pass, they call it, to Seth Morales. And then I saw him clinch the Rose Bowl berth by beating Indiana on senior day in the Old Oak and Bucket games. So he was one of my first football jerseys. And
hard to believe he's still playing.
Yeah, it is when you look back on it. It's a guy I literally just grew up watching since he was in college. And we're starting to see that. We're seeing these guys we grew up watching. The Peyton Manning done. Drew Brees most likely done. Tom Brady, I think he comes back next year unless he wins Super Bowl.
I was going to say, if he wins the Super Bowl, does he walk away?
I think Rivers is done. I think Big Ben might be done. We're just hitting that age where it's really odd. I don't know if we'll ever see anything like this ever again with so many Hall of Fame quality quarterbacks around the same age.
Yeah, I mean, you had the 2004 draft class that had Eli, Phillip, and Big Ben. I don't know if we'll ever see a draft class like that again. We're old.
Yeah. But so it was tough, but like you said, at least he got to one and won it. But it feels like he should have got to a lot more. Just like I'm sure Colt fans feel like Peyton should have won a lot more Super Bowls than just one. So, but it is what it is. There's a lot of other things that go into winning Super Bowl than just quarterback play. There's a lot of luck. There's defense. There's all types of things. So, but NFC matchup, it's the first game of the 2 championships. Tampa Bay at Green Bay. Green Bay is a 4-point favorite. Who do you like?
I don't like either team. I don't like Tom Brady. I don't mind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't like Antonio Brown, though. Not a big Mike Evans fan. Don't like Leonard Fournette.
I like Arians.
I like Bruce Arians some. Remember 6 weeks ago when the Arians and Brady were at each other's throats?
Yeah.
Now they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL.
Yeah,
Tom Brady's used to playing in cold weather, though, so you can't have Tampa Bay's playing in cold weather. They're not going to win.
It's supposed to be mid-20s.
20. Yeah, and they're supposed to get snow. But
for Green Bay.
Brady's used to playing in snow, all that. Green Bay got waxed by him earlier in the year.
That's right.
Killed by him. I think Rodgers gets his revenge and leads Green Bay to Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan.
Can't stand him.
I mean, he's exciting to watch on the field. He's an unbelievable quarterback, but I just don't like his attitude and on off-the-field stories I've heard. And I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, even though I do like him better on Tampa than I did on New England. Mm-hmm. And he's
still don't like him.
More fun on social media and stuff. But no, I still don't like him. And yeah, the Buccaneers, we haven't seen them make a Super Bowl since 2003 or really do anything since 03. But in the Packers, we haven't seen them make a Super Bowl since 2011. But they're historically one of the better franchises. So I'm like, I don't know who I want to win, but I think Green Bay's the better team overall, the more complete team, and I think they'll get it done. I'm going to go with 34-24 Green Bay.
It's a good score prediction. I'll be rooting for Tampa Bay. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think they're as good. They need a healthy Mike Evans. Chris Godwin needs to stop dropping the freaking ball. They're going to have to run it to beat Aaron Rodgers. You have to keep him off the field. That's the recipe to beat any elite quarterback like that. You have to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. So Ronald Jones is going to have a big game. Leonard
his
Fournette's
quads have to hold up. He looked a little gimpy at times last
Ronald
night.
Jones is by far their best running back, but he just can't stay on the field enough, and they have to give it to Leonard Fournette, who averages 3.5 yards a carry. But yeah, I think Green Bay wins by double digits.
I see Gronk's going to come back next year.
Is he?
I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah,
I thought he was only going to be a one-year deal because he's been okay, but nothing like he used to be.
No, when she's 31.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's coming back.
I was surprised he got up a couple times yesterday. He made 2 or 3 full-out extension dives, and he was very slow to get up. I'm like, he's got to be hurting out there. But that tells me that Brady's coming back unless maybe not at all, because I don't think he wants to play unless it's with Tom Brady.
Yeah. Who would they even... Who's their back? It's Mike Glennon, isn't it? Or
they'd go out and get somebody else.
No, it's a Blaine Gabbert. Mike Glennon's in Jacksonville.
Just like the Saints, do they roll with Jameis, or do they go get somebody? Because it's not going to be Hill.
It's not going to be Taysom.
It's not.
Shouldn't be Taysom Hill.
They could have used him yesterday.
Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill.
They were missing him yesterday.
Was he on the COVID list, or was he just
hurt?
Injured.
Hurt his knee. Because that is a nice way to mix in the run, and that was a beautiful play call, that trickery they did with Jameis in there. Jameis. Yeah, he can start, but...
he's only 27 years old. He has all the tools. Threw 33 touchdowns last year. If he just cut those interceptions down by half even, he's a good starting quarterback for a good team.
There's going to be a lot of teams out there in weird quarterback positions, but that's our NFC matchup. AFC, Saturday night, we had the Bills host the Ravens, and the Bills didn't play unbelievable on offense, but they didn't need to because their defense played so well against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' offense.
Yeah, Bills will score points, and they played obviously a great defense in Baltimore, but when you hold Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore team to just, was it 3 points or 6 points? 3 points? Lamar Jackson threw his first career red zone interception. He'd thrown 49 touchdowns until he threw that. And they housed it for 101, 102 yards. Doesn't help when Justin Tucker's missing 2 field goals. Was it ridiculously windy?
He hit the upright.
Because
I don't know.
I did not see a second of the game.
It was like a 41-yarder and hit the upright.
Because the Bills kicker missed 2 field goals as well, so I don't know if the elements were bad or not.
I watched a good majority of it, but I don't remember it being real windy, but it might have, and I wasn't paying attention.
That doesn't help because if he makes both of those, that's a 17-9 game. Lamar Jackson gets hurt, though, and Tyler Huntley?
Yeah.
Is he out of Boston College?
Utah,
that's right, Utah. I'm thinking of, I forget who the Boston College quarterback was. But yeah, Utah, he came in, and he actually led some drives down there. They just couldn't punch it in the end zone late.
Yeah. That guy who made the pick 6 on the Bills, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I was watching on Twitter. He's the guy in the combine a few years ago that got smoked by a ball right in the side of his head because he turned the wrong way.
I remember that.
The quarterback threw it and boom. Yeah, made up for it. So, Bills Mafia, a lot of people going through flaming tables the other night.
They're having fun, and they've donated 6 figures worth of money to Lamar Jackson,
which is really cool. I like how they do that, but it's also kind of a slap in the face.
Yeah,
they do it to the opponents they beat. But remember they did it for Dalton that one year when he helped them get in the playoffs.
I remember that. They're the craziest fan base in the NFL.
By far.
They've
been through a lot.
Yep, they deserve it. Bills are the hottest team in the NFL right now. Over their last 12 games, including the 2 playoff games, their only loss was the Hail Mary to Kyler Murray.
This is the last time they made the AFC Championship. We were one 27 years ago.
I was born on Super Bowl Sunday, and they were playing in it against the Redskins.
Yeah,
they've only been to 1 AFC Championship.
All right,
since.
Over there, you can see them in 4 in a row.
Yep,
4 losses.
I'm sure the fans that hated the Bills just loved. They probably didn't love the stretch where they were really good, went to the Super Bowl. Loved them losing every year, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would have.
Yeah, they lost to the Giants, then the Redskins, and the Cowboys twice.
Yep.
Crazy. But they're going to get a chance to go to the AFC Championship if they can go into Arrowhead and knock off the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs squeaked by the Cleveland Browns yesterday. Patrick Mahomes goes down with an injury that looked like a really bad concussion, but you were telling me today I think it's something with a nerve.
Tweaked nerve. He said it's not a concussion, but it's a tweaked nerve. It looked really bad when he was standing up, and he could barely stand up. But old Chad Henne comes in, throws a terrible interception in the end zone, but then does enough to win the game. If you're a Browns fan, how are you feeling letting Chad Henne, of all people, run 14 yards to make it a 4th and inches instead of getting the ball back?
What a gutsy play call.
Yeah, I love it.
To throw the ball.
Absolutely love it.
If that's incomplete, you probably lose the game.
Go, hey, try to win the game. I mean, you punt that thing away. You're trying to trust your defense, which is probably still a pretty good strategy because they're without timeouts. Minute 10 left. Likely going to keep them out of the end zone, but hey, don't even leave any doubt.
How about David Njoku's fumble at the end of the first half? Worst rule in sports.
Hate it.
Is the touchback through the back of the end zone.
Yeah,
Hate it.
That needs to be changed to where he fumbled the ball. Absolutely, because a guy's trying to score. For instance, I didn't see the play, so I'm not sure how it happened. Did he reach for the end zone and it got knocked out?
Yeah, he reached for the pylon. Guy made a hit, but even though you can't, you could see it on replay, but you can't overturn this replay. Should have been helped. At least should have been leading with the helmet.
Helmet, okay.
But you can't do that unless you call it. So
I mean, you're punishing a guy for trying to score, essentially.
If you want to do something, let the team who fumbled still get the ball back at the 20. That would be better than it is now, though.
It is better.
Given the opposition the ball.
Compromise.
But I mean, that's not the best, but it's better than what it is. I can't stand that rule.
At the same time, if you fumble forward out of bounds, the ball goes back to the spot of the fumble. Why shouldn't it the same be?
You're right. Yeah. He should have got it at the yard line or half-yard line. Yeah. But that drives me nuts. I just can't stand that rule. That's some of the dumbest rules. That, and then I've went off on tangents about the targeting rule of NFL and college and the pass interference, but I'm going to get off my soapbox and not go over that again. But the Chiefs going to the AFC Championship for the 3rd straight year. They're 3-point favorites over the Bills. Assuming Mahomes plays, who do you like?
This will be the J-Man's Book It prediction of the week. I think regardless of Patrick Mahomes playing or not, the Buffalo Bills go in there and win.
I hope you're right.
Regardless, if Patrick Mahomes plays, I think the Bills still go in there and win. Chiefs have been playing with fire here.
Yes.
Really for weeks. A month plus. I honestly think the Bills are a better team. Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback. Josh Allen's really freaking good, though. Bills don't have much of a run game. Bills' defense is better, though. I think their special teams is better. Harrison Butker did not have a very good year this year for the Chiefs. And kicking game will be huge, but for some reason, I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl in my bold predictions for 2021. Sticking with it. So that's the J-Man Book of Prediction of the Week, brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Travis Watching. For life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, and farm insurance, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watching@infb.com.
I sure hope you're right. If Chad Henne's a go and it's not Mahomes for whatever reason, I don't think Kansas City stands a chance. They got great weapons, but Mahomes makes those weapons what they are. I'm rooting for the Bills, but I think the Chiefs are going to do it again. And we're going to get a rematch from Super Bowl I of the Chiefs and the Packers. But it's not going to be Bart Starr and Lynn Dawson. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. And
I'm sure that's what the television networks are. I don't know who gets the Super Bowl this year. Do you?
CBS.
Okay, that's better than Fox anyway.
Romo and Nance. Yep.
But I don't see. I mean, people will tune into it regardless, but I could see ratings being real low if it's a Tampa Bay Buffalo Super Bowl. It's just not a sexy matchup at all.
Yeah, people will still want to see Brady lose, but
that's a good point.
If Kansas City's in it
and Green Bay's in it, we could set records.
If Green Bay and Buffalo's in it, it's still going to be a lot of people like the Packers.
Yeah, if it's a Packer-Chiefs Super Bowl, I think we could see the highest ratings ever.
Yeah, that's a good point. So my score prediction, I will go 31-27 going to stick with 24 for the Bills. 31-24.
I'll go 31-28 Bills.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I don't want to see the Chiefs back there because if they get there, I'm just convinced they're going to win it again. And here we go. It's a brand new dynasty.
I'll be rooting for them if they're playing Green Bay. Anyway.
Anybody but Kansas City. I'll even root for Tampa over them. I would like to see Green Bay against Buffalo, but I don't. Yeah.
Real quick, moving on from the NFL, unless you have anything else.
No, I don't think I do. Oh, I got two quick trivias for you really quick off the top of my head. My dad quizzed me earlier today. I got them both right pretty quick. What is the only division in the NFL where every team's won a Super Bowl?
Only division in the NFL where every team has...
Don't look over there.
Oh, I wasn't even looking at the... I was thinking. Every team has won a Super Bowl. That would be the NFC East.
You got it. What is the only division that only has one team that's won a Super Bowl?
AFC South.
You got it. Too smart, J-Man. You're just too good. Too good to stump.
College football playoff happened last week where Alabama just plays Ohio State and Miami and just murders them. 52-24.
Didn't watch much of the game, to be honest.
I watched the first half. Stop putting it on a Monday night at like 8:30.
Yeah.
The game's not over till almost 1 in the morning. Stayed up till halftime, where Devontae Smith had, I think, 12 catches for 215 yards,
man.
3 touchdowns put together, maybe the greatest wide receiver season ever in college football history. Mac Jones is awesome. Ohio State, for how good they are, they're still no match for.
And that's the thing, though. They're still the one of 3 teams who has a chance to win.
Right.
Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State is up here on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. They're going to be for the next 2 or 3 years. Then your pedestal below it, you probably have Notre Dame spearheading that one, but they're a huge
not even
gap.
Close. Sizable gap.
I would say that second level, you got Notre Dame, LSU at times, Georgia.
Texas A&M was there this year.
Oklahoma usually.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida, that mix. Oregon sometimes.
It sucks for schools like Cincinnati who had a great year, but they just have no shot to even get into the playoff because they don't play in a power conference, which isn't fair to them, which is why they need to expand it to 8. Now, they expand it to 8. The team who wins probably going to still be Alabama and Clemson, but at least it makes more
of a fighting chance.
And it gives a team like Cincinnati, who had this great year, or Boise State, like they've had great years, a chance to showcase themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they go undefeated. I think they went undefeated.
Who's that?
Cincinnati.
They did until they lost to Georgia.
Yeah, they lost in the bowl game. And they probably should have won that bowl game, too, against Georgia, which tells you anything. They just have no shot to even get in the 4.
Yeah. And now Cincinnati lost defense coordinator Marcus Freeman's the new defense coordinator at Notre Dame.
Yep.
Took a lot of the staff with them, so they're probably not going to be as good next year.
However, they get the quarterback back, and they get a majority of their players back.
They do. And Fickle's back.
And Luke Fickle knows what the heck he's doing. Yeah. So I heard Marcus Freeman was the second guy in line for the Illinois job, which is unheard of for a non-Power 5 coordinator to be in line. But, I mean, he's highly thought of throughout the industry, obviously by Notre Dame. Hires him to be defensive coordinator, and I bet he's a head coach within 2 to 3 years.
He chose Notre Dame over LSU.
Yeah.
He had an offer from LSU, too.
I bet he's a head coach within 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I would say this is going to be his last stop before he's head coach.
At a Power 5 school, I would say, too.
Yeah.
Assuming he does a really good job there, which he's done a good job everywhere.
Yep.
So.
Heck, he even was a good position coach at Purdue for a horrible...
Was that a Hazel year?
Oh, the whole time. He was there the whole time. That was his first non-GA job was at Purdue. And
he was probably, only like 26?
He was pretty
27?
young because he came in, in 2013. And then the last year he was at Purdue, he was co-defensive coordinator. And then he went to Cincinnati. So, he's a bright young coach who has a good future. But you're right. Something's got to be there for college football to find some more parity. But I know.
I think, and plus ratings were lower than they've been
they were.
In 15 years, maybe.
Well,
for a national championship game.
It was tough for them to get into college football this year because of the postponements, the cancellations, the late start of the Big Ten, the late start of Pac-12.
But
yada, yada, yada.
People have extreme Alabama fatigue.
Oh, absolutely.
Extreme Clemson fatigue. Extreme Ohio State and Notre Dame fatigue.
I'd say it's not going to change.
It's not going to change ever. Ever. And I don't see ratings getting any better unless another team steps up. Like, I think Jimbo Fisher will eventually get Texas A&M to that level.
Problem is you got to get past Saban.
Got to get past Saban. Got to get past Orgeron, which they weren't very good this year, but still got to get past Dan Mullen, too.
Yeah.
So
Can't stand that guy.
yeah, you've started to hate him.
Oh, this year I used to like him. I thought he went off his rocker this year. I just thought he did a lot of things that were unnecessary, but part of it.
Yeah.
So
that probably concludes our college football talk until maybe
draft
time.
I mean,
they did make changes to the NFL Combine this year, where they're doing it all virtually, virtual workouts, virtual interviews, which sucks for the city of Indianapolis.
at least they do get the whole NCAA tournament.
I guess that makes up for it. And it looks like the Big Ten basketball tournament is going to move there as well.
Should be there permanently. I don't
agree.
like how it switches.
I hate it when it's in Chicago.
Yep.
Stupid when they did it in D.C. that year.
Yep.
Madison Square Garden was awesome. You went to that.
That was cool being there. It was neat, but I don't want them to do it more than once every decade.
Especially since it was like 2 weeks before Selection Sunday. That was the worst part about it.
Yeah.
Illinois didn't even play a single game in March that year. They lost February 28th to Iowa. But yeah. So
we'll have more college football news if it comes up, but probably nothing until spring ball.
Or
if we have spring ball,
draft time.
Yeah. I got to get working on my mock, man.
Speaking of draft, Ohio State had their quarterback jump.
Yes.
To go pro, Justin Fields, but their best receiver, Chris Olave, is back. He was a projected first-round pick. Loaded wide receiver class, though, so he can be the top guy.
They lost Sermon, their running back.
Yes,
but
big bruiser.
Master Teague's back, and he's one of my bold predictions to win the Heisman next year, so I like that.
Ready to be educated.
I am. I'm excited. You said this is a good one, so you pumped it up.
I scanned it. I need to start. I need to stop doing that because then it
kind of ruins the surprise.
It just doesn't meet expectations usually.
Yeah.
19, or not 19, already screwed up. 1886, modern field hockey is born with the formation of the Hockey Association in England.
I bet my cousin knows that. She played hockey at DePaul University. Field hockey.
1896, the first college basketball game was played.
1896?
Yep, with 5 players on each side. It was conducted by the University of Iowa. They invited student athletes from the University of Chicago for an experimental game. Archie Miller would be proud of this. Chicago beats Iowa 15-12.
I sure hope the bottom of the peach buckets were cut out by then because at first they weren't in the game of basketball, and they got tired of getting up on the ladder to get the ball out.
1947, Detroit Tigers sell future Hall of Famer Hank Greenberg to the Pirates for $25,000.
It's just awful. They sold him. It sounds terrible.
Yeah. It really does sound terrible, doesn't it?
At least he got traded for some money instead of a bag of balls or a crate of bats.
I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago. A guy just a couple years ago in baseball was traded for a $1 bill.
Yes, we did.
Forget who it was, though. 1950, Indians pitcher Bob Feller, Hall of Famer. After a 15-14 season, he suggested to the Cleveland Indians that he takes a $20,000 salary cut because he wasn't good enough, which cut his salary to $45,000. 1951, NFL rules tackles, guards, and centers ineligible for the forward pass.
Wow,
they can be eligible if they report.
Yeah, they were eligible before that. Wow.
Can you imagine a big old bruiser back then is like 205 pounds.
Yeah, now it's your typical slot wide receiver.
Yeah. 1951, the NFL takes control of the failing Baltimore Colts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was the All-Star Game MVP in 1955? It was the 5th NBA All-Star Game.
Bill Russell.
His teammate, Bill Sharman.
No. Darn.
1958, Willie O'Ree is the first African-American to appear in the NHL, making his debut for the Boston Bruins.
I did not know that.
I didn't know they broke the color barrier that early. You'll love this one. 1963, Al Davis becomes the head coach and general manager of the Oakland Raiders.
He's a peach. So is his son, Mark.
Who won the MVP of the Pro Bowl in 1970? Hall of Famer. There was actually 2 MVPs, but
Staubach?
Nope, Gale Sayers. Who was the MVP of the 1972 All-Star Game?
72, Jerry West.
Jerry West.
Was it really?
Call. Yeah, good call.
Logo.
Hit a last-second 20-foot game-winning jumper.
Out of the way, Jer.
1973, the Boston Red Sox signed Orlando Cepeda as first player signed as a DH.
Oh,
Designated hitter.
interesting.
Yeah.
Thought it would happen later on. So.
Who won the Super Bowl in 1976 and who was the MVP?
76. I'm not looking over there. Can you give me the number of the Super Bowl? That might help me.
10.
Super Bowl 10?
That's the X, right?
Yeah, so it's X. Cowboys over Vikings?
Steelers over Cowboys. Can you name the MVP?
Lynn Swan.
Lynn Swan.
Gosh,
Good
dang
call.
The Vikings playing. Were they in Super Bowl? I'm looking over there.
1983, I think that stands for the International Olympic Committee, IOC, restores Jim Thorpe's Olympic medals in the pentathlon and the decathlon 70 years after they were taken from him because he was paid $25 in a semi-pro baseball game.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't know that was an actual thing that had happened.
I didn't either, but that sounds like
something
NCAA would do,
yeah.
not the
I know.
committee.
Let's see here.
He's a pretty good athlete.
Very good athlete. Who won the MVP of the NHL All-Star Game in 1992?
NHL All-Star Game. Let's go with Mario Lemieux.
Brett Hall.
Legend for the Stars.
1996, baseball owners unanimously approve interleague play. So that was the day.
I would have guessed it was earlier than that.
For 1997. I knew it was right after the strike year. 1998, Larry Bird returns to Boston as head coach of the Indianapolis.
Oh, man, that's bad. That's bad.
Of the Indiana Pacers for the first time.
I'd let it slide if you didn't live here and grow up in the state.
my mouth just kept talking.
Man, he was a good coach for the Pacers. General manager, not so much.
2004 AFC Championship game. The New England Patriots beat the Indianapolis Colts. I think that was the snowy.
Yep, remember that one.
AFC Championship game. Bunch of AFC, NFC Championship games. 2017 Baseball Hall of Fame adds Jeff Bagwell, Tim Raines, and Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. It was actually on this day in 2015 that the Seattle Seahawks beat the Green Bay Packers in overtime. And we were just talking about that game earlier.
That was such a choke job.
It was on this day in 2015. Deflategate happened. The New England Patriots beat the Indianapolis Colts 45-7.
Good friend of the show, Jeff Ryan, was at that game.
I remember that.
They bought tickets thinking the Broncos would be playing, and the Colts beat them the week before.
That is on this day.
That is a good on this day.
That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, you hyped it up, and it lived up
I
to
hope
the hype.
it lived up to the hype. Try.
But next week, don't look at it early.
Okay.
Just
I
read it for the surprise.
Well, you're the one reading it next week, so.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Duh. That was really
say,
dumb of me.
I never read it early.
That was really dumb. I won't read it early next week. So, but the On This Day segment is brought to you by Proforma Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print House has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company, and give them a call today at 574-210-3815. Show off that water bottle to all of our viewers out there on the IC Sports Network, J-Man. That's just one of the many different promotional products you can get through Proforma Print House. So, nice ventilated water bottle. Keeps your drinks cold or hot for a long time. So
Felt just like I was on The Price is Right, showing that thing off.
Yeah.
I'd be terrible at game shows. I'd freak. Could you see me on? I'm on TV right now.
Yeah.
But could you see me with like?
You'd be like Tribbiani was on that triangle show, the pyramid. The pyramid wasn't it?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'd be. My brain would just stop working.
I'm sorry, I don't know any Spanish words.
Some baseball notes real quick. It looks like John Lester is closing in on a deal with the Washington Nationals.
The Nationals are the Cubs of the East.
I guess. Kyle Schwarber, I remember, did this long tribute video and showed it to Lester on the big screen on one of their workouts. I think it was before their playoff game against the Marlins. Now they're going to be teammates again, it looks like. Sad to see him go, though.
Yeah, you were guessing it. You probably wasn't going to be back.
I don't advocate violence against anyone.
Oh, no.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, I think we can all read between the lines. If you follow J-Man on Twitter, what's your handle?
At MuntDog16.
If you like keeping up with Cubs news and
as
gossip and
much
everything.
as my hate of Tom Ricketts and the Ricketts family as a whole.
They're cleaning the house right now, aren't they, J-Man? Sort of, kind of, sort of, with more to come.
I think Wilson Contreras is next. Chris
do
Bryant
too.
after that. Going to be 57 and 105 playing in Wrigley freaking Field in Chicago. The large market Cubs.
It's still with the Central according to your bold predictions.
If everyone comes back, I still think they're probably the best team in the Central, which is crazy.
You still think they'll keep on the Baez and Rizzo, though?
Yeah. Rizzo, I mean, they need to work out extensions with those guys because they're free agents after the year. So's Chris Bryant.
Yeah, it's weird seeing the other team across town in Chicago making moves, doing things the right way.
Especially a Jerry Reinsdorf owned team,
that's a
for
good
one.
point. So
he's never been one to really give a crap.
In one more piece of baseball news, I was pleasantly surprised that DJ LeMay, and the Yankees agreed to a 6-year, $90 million deal.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, that was not happening.
I mean, just last week I got a notification on my phone that
he was ticked. He was ticked.
He was not happy with the Yankees. And I think they made an unbelievable minor league free agent signing in Corey Kluber.
Yep, saw that too.
I mean, buy low risk, high reward.
See what happens. But
they've also been in talks with the Reds about trading for Luis Castillo. But
please do.
The Reds said no.
Yeah,
because
Reds.
They feel like they have the best chance to win the division.
They're contenders.
They wouldn't even been in the playoffs if they wouldn't have expanded it this year.
Forgot they made the playoffs.
Scored a grand total of 0 runs.
When they make their
Cubs scored 1.
Their exit happened so early, I forget they even made it.
Yeah, didn't count this year though.
Yeah. Want to switch to some college hoops?
Sure.
Big Ten. I know we see this every single week. We sound like a broken record. Is the craziest conference in college basketball.
Everyone's just beating up on everyone, like we predicted.
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan goes into Minnesota and just gets waxed yesterday.
After just waxing.
Wisconsin by 30 or so. It's just
starting at 40.
The whole, I mean, every single game you see people are just beating up. Teams that shouldn't win are going into on the road and winning.
Yep.
We're seeing teams just not play that well that should be playing better, like Rutgers, Illinois.
Yeah, Rutgers, something's not clicking there. They've fallen off the last 3 weeks.
I mean, they looked on top of the world just 3 weeks ago, and now they're just not. And Ron Harper's back, too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I just don't get it. Don't get what's going on with Illinois. I've said so much about Illinois, I'm not even going to talk about them tonight because I don't know what else I can say.
We've seen COVID pop its head up and take
Nebraska.
Penn State finally played yesterday, but now Nebraska's whole team has it.
Michigan State's not going to play for weeks. They had their games canceled pretty much all week.
They did Iowa and
Illinois.
Yeah, Purdue was the last team they played.
That'll be 2 weeks as of Friday. So we thought it'd happen. It'll be interesting to see what the Big Ten does, though. Brad Underwood said in his pre-game press conference today, they usually do it a day before they're supposed to play. He said he thinks their Big Ten schedule is going to look completely different 7 days from now than it does right now. I think they're going to completely restructure it.
It's interesting what college basketball's going to do. You got number 3 ranked Villanova, who's like 9-1. They haven't played in a couple weeks.
Barely played, yeah.
I don't know how the committee's going to seed teams this year. I
think they're going to go. I think the eye test for one's going to be the biggest thing because, I mean, teams could play 17 games, but, you know, they were supposed to be a good team coming in. They just couldn't get into a rhythm. It's going to be weird. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's going to be a strange year.
This year, maybe, without the fans in one location, you just try to get the best 68 teams and throw them in and don't worry about seeding as much as you have in the past. See what happens.
I've always been an advocate of that. I mean, you love the upsets, but take the 68 best. You got to take the small, mid-majors, low majors. You have to. Especially if they win their conference championship. But you're seeing teams like that are on the bubble that would blow even the 13 seeds out, and they're not getting in because
that's what makes the tournament special.
It's what makes it fun. I get it, but
it's going to be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how many teams the Big Ten gets. I still think the
Big Ten gets 10.
Yeah, we're 60% done with college basketball.
It's crazy.
It's flying by.
Yep.
But of course, I had a good week.
Of course, you did.
My team went 2-0 and defeated their in-state and their main rival, the Indiana Hoosiers, for the 8th straight time.
They're Archie Miller's daddy.
They are Archie's daddy right now. It's that's 8 straight for the Boilers, 11 out of the last 12, and 16 of the last 21. You
That's
take
crazy.
away the Zeller teams. That was 4 of the wins right there.
Yeah.
Cody Zeller's 2 years.
And those were bad Purdue teams,
Those
too,
are awful
for the most
Purdue
part.
teams. Matt's 2 worst. Or no, 2 of his 3 worst. His first year he won 9 games. But, yeah, it's Matt's finding a way. And hopefully, I mean, right now on paper, Purdue's got 2 good recruiting classes coming in. The future looks pretty bright for them.
Especially
so hopefully
they're
they can
the
keep it rolling.
youngest team in the Big Ten
Yeah,
right now.
and
No
their
seniors.
young guys are starting to grow up.
Yeah.
But they got lucky. They pulled out yesterday. They did not play well yesterday. Very sloppy physical game against Penn State. They hit a lot of shots against Indiana down Bloomington, and it didn't carry over in Mackey yesterday. And that was the first home game since Christmas.
They still scored 80
yesterday.
points,
They still scored 80 points, but, man, that last 2 minutes was the longest 2 minutes I've ever seen in a basketball game. My goodness.
Penn State start fouling with like 2
yeah,
minutes
and
left.
then they kept going to the review to every time there was a close batted ball out of bounds. And you know, I thought somebody put it good on Twitter yesterday. How come in NFL the replay looks so crystal clear, and on when it comes to basketball, the replay looks like it's shot on somebody's deer camera. It's awful.
It
It's
is.
pixelated, and it's terrible when they zoom
Yeah.
in. But no, I'm happy where they're at. I mean, they got a tough week this week. They play at Ohio State tomorrow, who they beat in December. But Ohio State's playing a lot better. They have E.J. Liddell back now. They didn't have him in December, but they don't have C.J. Walker. They had him in December, but Liddell's more of a factor than Walker. And then they host Michigan on Friday. So I would love a split. I would take 1-on-1 and run, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I have nothing to say.
Want to predict some games?
Sure.
Let me get it up here on my phone. Should have had this ready. I apologize. Yeah, tomorrow, Penn State. Purdue at Ohio State.
Purdue's rolling. Ohio State had a really good week this past week as well.
This is
winning in
Purdue's
Illinois.
worst venue, man.
With E.J. Liddell back, I just think it's going to be tough, and I'm taking Ohio State. However, if Travion Williams keeps playing like he's playing, man, he's one of the few big guys that can get hot.
Yeah.
Like last year, he had moments where he'd get hot and go off for 30, and then he scored 12 points combined over their next 3 games. Hasn't happened as much this year. It did maybe early in the season.
Yeah.
But he's been on fire. I think Purdue keeps it close, though, but I think Ohio State pulls it out.
He has 10 games in a row. He's scored 10 or more points, and he's turned into the leader of their team, which is nice to see somebody turn into a leader. He's the best passer they got. I like the offense runs through him. I just hate him in their late in games because he's awful free throw shooter. He's 51%.
Yeah.
He's terrible. But I agree with you. I think Purdue keeps close, but Ohio State pulls it out. This is Purdue's worst venue for some reason. Even so, without fans, I just don't look for them to play good at Value City Arena. It's still called that, right?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe it's not because I don't know Value Cities. Whatever. Maryland at Michigan.
Give me Michigan. I think they bounce back. I don't know if Ayala's back for Maryland.
Couldn't tell you.
I don't think it matters. Michigan's too good.
Yep, I agree. I think Michigan comes out angry. Penn State at Illinois.
If Illinois loses this one, they're in deep doo-doo.
I'm just laughing because I can see the tweets right now.
I might stay off of Twitter tomorrow night. It's been brutal the past 2 games. It's only been 2 games. Is the problem. The problem is their home game.
At least you didn't get a watch.
I watched
Otherwise, probably saved some
on my
of your blood
phone.
pressure.
I watched. They were down. I think it was 34-17. I was driving in a car.
They were getting whooped for a little while.
Yeah, if they lose this one, it could get ugly, which I did not see happening. But
That's
I think
the highest expectations they've had.
that's the
quite a
worst
while.
part. Last year was so much fun because I didn't have any expectations. But I think Illinois ultimately pulls it out.
Yeah.
They got to eventually, don't they?
I think they'll win pretty comfortably. I
Hopefully.
could see Penn State kind of like last. I don't think Penn State will get the large lead they did last time.
Illinois has had a hard time guarding the 3-point line the past few games. Penn State bombs it from everywhere.
Oh my gosh!
Everywhere.
Yesterday, right? Every time I thought Purdue,
Dread, Miles Dread.
Then they had another one, Jones.
Yeah, Marion Jones.
He was pulling up. I'm not kidding. Almost from half court.
Yeah.
He hit like 4 in a row.
Yeah, they do that. They go down and try to score quick. Yep. Almost the Mark D'Antoni. Was he the basketball coach? Was it D'Antoni or D'Antonio?
Mike D'Antoni, yeah. Mark D'Antonio was football for.
Remember when D'Antoni had that 7-second rule with Nash and Amari go down and shoot within 7 seconds? That's kind of what Penn State does.
Yeah, I think Illinois went pretty comfortably. I think it might be close for a half or so, but Illinois pulls away. Too much talent.
If they get down double digits again in the first half, I'm going to be mad.
We wouldn't expect any difference. Northwestern at Wisconsin.
Wisconsin bounces back. I mean, they bounced back against who'd they play yesterday? Iowa. Well,
on CBS.
Iowa just scores too.
Because they flipped. It was supposed to be Indiana, Michigan State.
I was going to say, how's Northwestern get a CBS game? Yeah. I don't think Illinois got a CBS game this year. It's okay with me.
I think Wisconsin wins it pretty easily. Minnesota, Nebraska's postponed. Rutgers at Penn State Thursday.
Rutgers needs it. But I think Penn State gets her done.
I'll go with Rutgers in a close physical ball game. Indiana at Iowa Thursday night.
Iowa. Indiana can't score with them. No shot.
Nobody, barely anybody can score with Iowa. Friday night, Michigan at Purdue.
Boilers. Home game.
I agree with you. I don't know why I'm feeling better about that one than I am tomorrow night. Maryland, and that's the only time Purdue plays Michigan, so they'll be done with them. Thank goodness. Maryland at Minnesota Saturday.
Minnesota.
Yep, I agree there. The surprise of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Ohio State at Wisconsin. That'll be a good one.
Wisconsin. Home team.
I agree with you.
They don't like to call many fouls against teams that or they don't like to call many fouls against Wisconsin in that building. So
Northwestern at Penn State. Penn State's got 3 games this week. They
have to make them up.
Yeah.
Give me Northwestern. I think they, for some reason, go in there and get her done.
I'll take the Nittany Lions in this one to be a little different. Illinois, Michigan State's postponed. Then Sunday, Nebraska, Iowa's postponed. So you got Rutgers at Indiana on Sunday. Big week for Rutgers in Indiana.
Big week for Indiana, yeah. Indiana has to find a way to split. If they don't, they're done.
I could see that being a free fall if they lose both.
Yeah.
Because their schedule
fan base is already getting kind of antsy. Give me Indiana at home, though. Bold predictions real quick.
I agree. Indiana at home. I was thinking.
First bold prediction.
My first one, speaking of Indiana will not have Mr. Basketball this year in the state of Indiana.
Why? Just because?
Well, for one, they don't have a commit yet from the state of Indiana. They only have one commit. And Caleb First and Trey Kaufman-Renn, both Purdue commits, are really separating.
I thought you meant the state of Indiana won't announce one this year.
Indiana University won't have Mr. Basketball this year. That's what I meant.
That makes sense. Mine is we will have full stadiums by the Major League Baseball All-Star break. Wishful thinking, I think.
But right.
That's a bold prediction.
I like it. Another one of my bold predictions, the 2021 Olympic Games will not happen.
Ooh, I don't like that one.
I hope they do.
My Olympic one, the USA basketball team will not win the gold medal. That's my...
You're talking about the 3-on-3 team or the actual...
The actual, because I don't think many players really care that much about it anymore, that they're just not going to play them.
I hope the Olympics can happen for Robbie Hummel's sake and other athletes
I forgot they had the 3-on-3.
Who have been training, but I just... Even though I think and I'm optimistic that things going to get better, but you're talking about bringing athletes
from everywhere,
all different countries. I don't know. I agree. That. Another one of my bold predictions: the Colorado Avalanche will win the Stanley Cup. They're the Vegas favorites right now. They're 1-1 on the season. They lost 4-1 the first night against the Blues, but beat the Blues in the second game 8-0. It's a lot of goals. I just think they're too young, too talented not to get at least one cup in the next 5 years, and I think they get it done for the first time since 2001.
This is another wishful thinking one. Neither Alabama nor Clemson will be playing in the college football playoff, which of course...
Sort of like mine a few weeks ago where I said neither them or Ohio State would win it next year. So I don't know who's going to be.
Which, of course, this is more of a 2022 prediction.
Yeah.
But it's only happened once in the college football playoff history.
The Kansas Jayhawks will not win the Big Ten regular season title.
I hope not, because they play in the Big 12.
Big 12 regular season title. I had 12 written down. I had 10 on the brain. Kansas will not win the Big 12 regular season title. It'd be the first time since the 03-04 season Oklahoma State won it. They've at least been co-champions every year since.
I think Texas Tech.
Man, I like Texas.
Baylor.
Texas
I forgot about Baylor.
All 3 of those teams are pretty good.
Yeah, I think Baylor's the best team in there, but I agree.
Kansas plays Baylor tonight.
Nice. There will be at least one NFL team that goes from last to first in their division.
Come on, Broncos.
I think the most likely is probably San Francisco or Philadelphia to be able to do that. But
I heard a rumor McDaniels might be Philadelphia's next head coach.
Why?
I don't know. That's a rumor, but they're also interviewing Todd Bowles today. His defense looks good right now. In my last bold prediction for this week, we'll finish it up with 6. the final 6 next week. We will see the first perfect game thrown this year since Felix Hernandez against the Rays on August 15th, 2012.
We haven't had a perfect game since then?
A lot of no-hitters.
Wow,
no perfect
I didn't
games.
know that. Next season will be the 3 longest tenured NFL coaches' final year with the franchise. Belichick, Tomlin, Sean Payton.
I could see that.
All 3 of them.
I could see that,
Yeah.
particularly if Tomlin and Payton don't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill will stay there till he doesn't want to anymore.
I could see Bill like joining an ownership group or something.
I don't know.
I just don't know.
I don't know.
I know he's a grouch, but
We're on to Cincinnati. Can't stand that guy.
I have no idea on the Birdie Bogey. I've been thinking about it all show. I have no freaking clue.
Let me give you a couple seconds to ponder it. With yesterday's win, Tom Brady became the 4th quarterback ever, or will become the 4th quarterback ever, to play in the AFC and NFC title game, joining 3 other guys. Of those 3 other guys, only one has won both the NFC and AFC championship. Who is it?
AFC and NFC championship.
I'll let you look at that.
I know. I still have no idea.
I'll let you look at
I've been looking at it. I forgot that was over there. Both AFC and NFC.
For people listening to the audio, I have a
championship game
picture thing down here that has matchups of Super Bowl 1 through 50 down here with helmets and scores. So, still don't think I'll help him on this one.
I don't think Bledsoe's played in 2.
Bledsoe, that's a name I wasn't even thinking of.
See, he went to 1, but of course Brady went to the same conference. You idiot! I don't think Bledsoe would play with the Cowboys. I guess.
Yeah. Remember he played for the Bills? That was weird.
Yeah, forgot about the Bills. Oh man, obviously wasn't Eli. Wasn't Brees. Wasn't Peyton. Wasn't Russell Wilson.
You want me to
Rodgers.
give you a hint, and if you get it right with the hint, you get a par.
I'll take it.
Not in our lifetime.
Okay. Can't imagine it was Doug Williams. I don't even have a guess.
Just throw it out there. There's one guy you should be able to guess.
I know Joe Montana's been to one in both, but he didn't win one with the Chiefs. He didn't play in the Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
I will say he's one of the other guys that's been there.
I know that one.
Guys.
The one guy that's won both, Kurt Warner didn't play in both.
Let's take it, Bogey.
Doug Williams.
Good guess, but Craig Morton.
How in the world?
I know you've heard of Craig Morton, so.
Was he a Denver guy?
He was.
I thought so.
And he was a Cowboy.
I'm going to give myself a par for that one.
He won the Super Bowl with the Cowboys and the NFC Championship. He won the AFC Championship, and he played against the Cowboys in 1977.
I'm going to get you back.
And the other guy that also made it to AFC and NFC Championship game, Jay Schroeder.
Never heard of him.
For the Redskins and the Raiders.
Had the right team.
Nope.
Never even heard of Jay Schroeder.
I hadn't either.
Heard of Craig Morton.
I hadn't either. So.
Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Network. Love Conference Championship Week in the NFL. This is one of my favorite football weekends of the season. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll be back at it. Same bat time, same bat channel next Monday.
Buy some Tan and J-Man Show merch. Use the promo code JMAN, J-M-A-N, for free shipping through January 31st. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, everybody. We'll be back next Monday.